So today I'm sitting here with Grant in Manchester, continuing our little series that we're working on. Again, if you like what we're doing, hit like, subscribe, share, all them funny little buttons. If you have any questions about anything that we're doing, or if you have any questions for anybody that we've interviewed, feel free to post them, and we will get back with the person or couple and get answers for your questions. So let's start right in. Grant, how are you today?
Doing good.
Good. Start off with, if you don't mind, how old are you?
I'm 73. I'll be 74 in a couple of months.
Okay. You were once married, I understand?
Yep. I got married in 1970, which was pretty much what gay men had to do back then. My wife has since passed on. I'm the father of two and grandfather of one.
Okay. Did any of your family know that you were gay, or how did you come out to them, or?
I came out to them about 8 years into the marriage.
Really?
Because I fell in love with my best friend in college. That was really the first clue I had that I might be gay. I ended up seeing a Christian counselor for a long time, trying to stay straight. I was involved with fundamentalists, so I couldn't come out. They were like brothers and sisters to me. If I came out, I felt I would have lost their friendship. But I was miserable for a very long time, and then I finally came out to my wife. I came out to my church pastor first to prepare for dealing with my wife. So I was just about 30 when I came out. And about 2 years later, I came out to her parents and my parents because we knew we were getting divorced.
And roughly what year was that?
So I came out to my wife in 1977. I came out, actually it was probably 78, 1978 or 79. I came out to her parents and then my parents, 1979, that was the year. And then the divorce came in 1980.
So what was the general response from her parents, your parents?
Her parents were very positive. I was very surprised. And then I guess a few months later, I made a trip to New York with the boyfriend I had at that time. And I grew up in a very small town in central New York, so I would plan this as both a vacation trip and my coming out trip. So I sent him off for a walk while all my brothers and sisters were gathered together. And I'm the oldest of 6, so 4 of my brothers and sisters came to see me because I hadn't been there in a while. My other brother lives in Ohio, so he couldn't make it. So basically I came out to the whole family at the same time. Then when my boyfriend came back, my father actually shook his hand. I was very surprised. My mother was crying, but she kept her tears hidden. I was told later that she was crying. She seemed to take it harder than my father did. My father seemed to be fine with the boyfriend, and there was some degrees of reaction. And then eventually I came out to the other brother like at Christmas time, and he was fine with it. We were like 13 months apart, sibling rivalry sort of thing. I was very surprised that he was fine with my being gay. It didn't seem to matter. And over time, except for one holdout, everybody was more positive.
Was your boyfriend at that time, was he out to everybody, or?
He was out to his family, a very small family.
Okay.
So he was out with his family, and I think within the next year I got to meet his parents and his grandmother. Um, I don't think they knew exactly what our relationship was, but they knew he was gay anyway because he was older than me and he'd been out for a while.
Okay. And that's back when it was not a good thing.
Oh no, definitely not. And it said I wasn't raised a fundamentalist, but in college I sort of lost direction. I lost spiritual direction, and I ended up becoming friends with fundamentalists who brought me into their group, and I went through what's commonly called a conversion experience. A year later, I met this new. I was I guess a senior in college, and this new freshman came in. Some fundamentalist crisis came up. It's something only fundamentalists would understand. We became very close friends, and then at some point I realized that I was in love with him, but I couldn't tell him because he was straight and I was surrounded by fundamentalists, and the fundamentalist attitude was, no, you can't be gay. And in fact, years later I was told things like, oh, you can't be gay and be a Christian at the same time. But that was the attitude. Mm-hmm. So I had to accept myself as being gay, and I had to get out.
Did you have any? Did they know where you worked, or any employers know that you were gay, or?
Not for a long time.
Yeah.
Generally, I was in the closet.
Okay.
I think the first employer I came out to, not so much the employer, but a couple of the employees back in the 1990s. But it was the kind of thing that generally I was in the closet, and that would cause some awkward situations, like having to lie about your private life, or lie about who you were living with, what the relationship was, and having to lie all the time is not a good thing mentally or spiritually.
Especially bringing somebody to a company Christmas party or something like that.
Yeah, no, I never could do that.
Yeah.
And there were also my third partner was a school teacher, so he was in the closet. And there were places that we couldn't go because he was, in the closet. And, for example, he worked near Concord, New Hampshire. For the 15 years we were together, we could not go north of Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay.
So I had to share his closet.
So, compared to now, would you say it's different? A lot different? Is it better? Is it worse?
Oh, it's definitely much better. The 1980s, early 1980s, with the AIDS crisis, was a huge social setback, which I think the LGBT community has recovered. But it's definitely now more acceptable to be gay or to be bi, or any of those letters, LGBT plus.
Yeah.
It's definitely more acceptable than it was. One side effect to that here in Manchester is that there are fewer gay bars, and fewer private gay bars. In the in the 1970s, gay bars were private clubs. That was to control who would come in, who was allowed to come in. By the 1990s, all the private clubs were gone. All the clubs or bars were, LGBT, not just, gay men, and they were public. So that was a huge change.
So Manchester was really pretty progressive with it.
Yeah. But it's not just Manchester; it's all over. For example, there are fewer gay bars in Boston. because there are places that you can go as gay, be more accepted. So there's less of a need for a specific gay bar.
Okay. So you had one partner for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've actually have had, yeah, counting the wife, I've had 5 partners.
Okay.
Um,
All around your age, or a variety?
The
or-
wife is 6 years older, and she was a fundamentalist. That's how we met. We were legally together for 10 and a half years. We separated after 7 and a half years. We separated. It took her a while to decide that divorce was it. Um, in the meantime, I had my first partner, who was terrible. I actually ran away from him after 5 months. It was a huge mistake. I had met my second partner the same night that I met the first. I just made the wrong choice.
Okay.
We were together over 2 years. And then when number 3 came along, we were together 15 and a half years. Till I couldn't live in his closet anymore. And the last partner was 15 and a half years. And he passed away.
And since then, you haven't had anybody steady, or
I kind of do, I kind of don't.
okay,
No, I've had guys that have been very close to, boyfriends. I had a cuddle buddy who would not want to be called a boyfriend. I had a boyfriend who we split after 8 months. In the meantime, I was bonding with someone else, and that someone else is now my best friend for over 2 years. And we do a lot of things together, but again, we both have had bad relationships, so neither one of us is looking for a partner. But what we have is almost like that. I manage things for him. He helps me a lot.
nice.
We help each other a lot.
Nice. So we're going to end this segment now, and we'll get back to Grant again. We'll talk to you again next time.
Okay.
Okay.